Welcome to a look at new mods on Farming Simulator 19 with me, MrSealyp. It's Tuesday the 14th of January and we have new mods. I'm going to start off with this little beauty in front of us. I mean, it's two little beauties, but it's the same mod for all intents and purposes. Actually, before I do that, updates. We have had updates to the Service Pickup Pack by Realistic Farmers, the Scorpion King MRF Edition by MR Forced Technic, the Ursus 1204-1614 pack by Kommandant and PGR Slino map by Varek, I'm never quite sure, Varek 12 Mirio have all had updates. If you check into the game Modhub or the Farming Simulator website Modhub for the change logs, because there's a few bits of information there on what's been changed on those particular mods. We've also had today as a new mod another Seasons Geo, Bavarian Forest by JD Power. That's new out. Again, you might want to check that out because it explains all the details on there of what that Geo actually alters and changes with regard to seasons. So as far as tangible mods, if that's the best way of putting it, we've got the New Holland T8. This is by blauea. We've got a blue power in here, a T8 blue power, very nice indeed. We've got a few different options on colour, wheel configurations, etc. As far as differences to the standard edition, that's kind of where we go with this one. Some colour alterations to blue power version. There's a black edition, which we're going to have a look at in a second. This is 38 slots. I think the standard in-game T8 is 16 or 17, something like that. But we'll have a look at that now. Very nice, tidy mods. I do like the blue power. I mean, I like the blue powers in all of them. I love the tinted windows. That seems to be something we've had on quite a few of the mods recently. We're getting this tinted window effect. I like that too. I think it's nice. Still keeping the tracked version, if you want to have that, with the Fiat Agri kind of red. It's like almost like a rust red, isn't it? I think. So we'll have a look. You'll find these under large tractors. The T7's in there, but the T8, there we go. It's 17 slots. 267,000 for the base game version. So the T8 series, 267, let's say 38 slots. It says 2 there because I've already got one, or got 2 actually. But we can change the main colour. You've got the standard New Holland blue. We can have the blue power. We can have the black edition. I think actually that looks quite nice too. And then we can have the Fiat Agri rust red. Let's leave it on the black for the time being. Hang on. We can change the rim colour. We can have the standard kind of silvery white. We've got the Fiat Agri kind of slightly cream off-white colour. And then we've got the black, so you can go black, which actually again looks fantastic. One thing I think it is missing, just being very nitpicky in all honesty, when you go for the blue powers generally have a more silver hub, wheel rim. Generally speaking, with the New Hollands it's normally white, but I think with the blue powers it's more of a silver, and I think that's the only thing missing. If you go for the blue power edition, it'd be nice to have the silver as an option. Maybe I went for black because I wanted to go with black. Anyway, tyre options. We can have Trelleborg, we can have Michelin or Mitres. Under Trelleborgs, we can have standards, we can have wheel weights, wides, wide and weights, twins. I mean, that looks pretty aggressive. I like that whole stance, the black and the twins. Rear twins, crawler track, which again looks quite cool. Back to standard. And the Michelins, I think it's the same configurations for each, but the tyre pattern tread is different. The tyres, these look a little bit more rounded on the edges. The walls, yes. So standard, wheel weights, wides, wide and weights, twins, rear twins, tracks, back to standard. And then mitres, standard, wides, weights, wides, wide and weights, twins, rear twins, tracks, back to standard again. Under design we can have standard or blue power edition, and I'll be honest with you, I do like the black on black with the New Holland with the blue power, that silver logo on there. That looks mint, that really does. But anyway, with the blue power on, if we go back up to the main colour, he says So yeah, you've got the blue power with the blue power logo. Very nice indeed. So yeah, standard or blue power. Then engine setup, I think the engine setup's the same as the standard one. We've got the T8320 at 320 horsepower, the 380 at 382 horsepower, and the 435 at 435 horsepower. Those are your 3 engine options. As far as what does it look like? What does it sound like? I always like I say, with the blue powers, when you catch the light just right on them, when the colour's just right, it's a nice look, it really is. Lights as usual, front, rear, work lights, and off again. We've got beacons on the top, all the usual indicators, bells and whistles. What does the horn sound like? It's not too bad, not too peep peep. We have got a rear window that opens, but I don't think the doors do. But we've also got, if I go to the front and do this, if I go L1, right stick up and down, I can fold my mirror in or adjust the mirror depending on what angle you want to be at for looking out of. If I go inside and do that, hang on, it's the side. Very nice indeed. Come back out again. If I do R1 and my right stick, I can do the other mirror at the other side. If I do L1 and R1 on my left stick, we can open and close the rear window, like so. We don't have doors opening on this one. As far as inside, what have we got? It's a fairly standard in-cab. I went through checking the lights. The lights do come on there, but then when we scroll through the light options, beacons, that kind of thing, nothing else comes on the console. Indicators, there's no indicator on the front dash by the steering wheel, and when you've got beacons on I can't seem to see anything anywhere. But anyway, turn that off, come back out, turn the indicators off, and there we go. The rust coloured Fiat Agri colour there with the tracks, it's just the same. All the options are exactly the same. The rear window opens, mirrors all still move, it's just a change of colour, and tracks. There you go. That's the New Holland T8 by blauea. Very nice indeed. I'm going to need these actually to show the next things, but I'm going to do the barn next. Behind us we've got a barn. This is a Polish style barn. This is by Daniel X321. It's 13 slots to place. Textures and detail on this is lovely. I do like the brickwork. You know, all the ones that look a little bit chipped and cracked, and you've got all, you know, where the rain's kind of come off the roof. It's very nice indeed. We have got a light switch here which turns the lights on and off inside. In there, do have a little bit of rubble here and there, but as well what we've got, something I do kind of say look for, but I do like drive-through barns. There's nothing wrong with the barn that you have to reverse into or whatever, or drive forwards into, but I do like the ability to be able to drive through with those awkward trailers, you know the ones I mean. So if we turn the lights off, like so, there we go. Nice detailing on the roof inside as well. We do have a ladder at the end, in case you want to get up on the roof. There you go. 13 slots to place. That's the Polish style barn by Daniel X321. Very nice indeed. Moving on, we have got wells. These are the wells by DanioMods. We've got this one here is 1 slot to place. This one here is 2 slots to place. A little bit more detail on this one. Once placed, the water you collect from here is free. It doesn't cost you a penny. Again, I like the textures on this are really nice. Very cool. Don't take up a lot of space, although what I did find when I placed the first one here, I tried to place the second one and it wouldn't let me place it. It said there was a collision with another object, but that was as close as I could place those together, which is a mild concern for such a small mod, that potentially you're not going to be able to place this very close to other things. But then I guess potentially it has to have the trigger fairly wide out for vehicles to meet up and match it. So what I've done is I've grabbed a water tank just to show it in action, so to speak. So it should come up alongside, press L3 and it should start to fill and it should cost us a penny. There we go. We are filling from that one. Oh. Maybe you have to be round where the actual pipe is in this one. Let's have a quick check, we'll come past. Yeah, so where that little bit of pipe sticks out, you need to be around that side, but we are filling up for free. As far as what they cost, they're only 1,500 each, I think. You find them under placeables. Under miscellaneous. There you go. Well and well 2, 1,500 each. Like I say, that one's 1 slot, that one's 2 slots when you get the first one of each. So not too bad at all. Very nice. So those are the wells by DanioMods. Lastly, on our list for today, it's a short list today, we have got this, the Kommandant Accord Dl. I'm sure we had one of these on FS19, didn't we? I'm trying to think. Anyway, very nicely detailed mod. Again, you know, I always say it, and it's that kind of, you have to treat each mod as it stands in front of you. Sometimes, yes, you compare them to other mods, because if there's like for like, then there is obviously a comparison. But if I look at a mod as it is in front of me, it's a nicely detailed mod. Textures look good. I know I say it for a lot of mods, textures are nice, you know, but, you know, the metal looks like metal, the bits that are painted look like painted, you know, it looks right. All the hoses and tubes and pipes and PTO and everything's all there. It looks very, very good indeed. Now we have got ridge markers. This is an option on here, and I will show you something just very quickly, only because it threw me initially, but that was my own fault because I wasn't really paying attention. But it's only 3 meters. It's not a very big one, so if you're running a small farm setup, and it hasn't got a huge capacity, so if you are going to be doing a few fields, you might want to run a front tank on the front of this as well. But again, that's entirely your prerogative. We will find this under seeders. The Accord DL, 9,200 by 750 litre capacity, 60 horsepower required. It's not too bad at all, actually. Quite like this one. Options available, you can have it like so, or you can have it with the disc markers, the ridge markers, like that. So you don't have to have the ridge markers on if you don't want. I mean, to be fair, it does add 1,250, and if you're the sort of person that doesn't generally use ridge markers at all ever, then there probably isn't any point in having them on there. But it's there as an option if you should choose to. I'll grab this one. Right, so I've lowered it down just so it's a little bit easier to see. We're in the light a little bit. Open cover, L1 and left on the D-pad. Opens and closes the cover for filling, etc. Ridge markers, it's normally L1 and up on the D-pad, which I was doing and I couldn't work out why, or I couldn't get the ridge markers to work. Excuse me. When you open the help menu, it does say ridge marker, L1 and up on the D-pad, but it does say unfold sower, and that's what I'd missed. If you do L1 and X, it opens up the ridge markers, puts them up to a full extent. Then if you do L1 and up on the D-pad, it goes through the ridge marker options. So if you were finding you couldn't work out why your ridge markers aren't working, you need to unfold them first, which extends them. If I press X again now, L1 and X, it packs them away for transport. So just thought I'd throw it in there. I mean, it may well be glaringly obvious, but it was something I missed, and I always go with that rule of thumb. If I missed it, potentially someone else might miss it. You never know. So that's it. That's the mods for today. Yeah, not a very huge list today. Liking the T8. It's a tractor I don't use very often, and I think it's personally, I think the front wheels look a long way out. It's not an odd looking tractor, but you know, and it's one that I think that gets overlooked. You generally go for other types, but it's a nice tractor, and it's a nice version of it with a few different bits and bobs on there. So there you go. I hope you found this useful and informative in some way, shape or form. If you have, give us a like. If you don't subscribe yet, please do. If you want to leave a comment, feel free, and if you want to share this video, then please be my guest. Whatever you should choose to do. Thanks for watching.